As reported on the Football Terrace last week, Chelsea Football Club will be looking to progress, advance and move forward their 2-year pursuit of Jules Kounde. That's a 2-year scouting mission looking at this very talented young French defender, primarily a centre-back, but can play in a multitude of positions. Chelsea felt they were very close to concluding this deal 3 to 4 weeks ago. But of course, Kurt Zouma walked away from a potential swap deal and then didn't move to West Ham as predicted. Chelsea have had to handle FFP situations, as have all clubs over the course of this summer, so they've had to hold back from the signing of Jules Kounde. But with Tammy Abraham, along with a number of other players seemingly moving out the door this week, Chelsea Football Club, of course, pushed them back by Roman Abramovich, will look to get Thomas Tuchel, another one of his main targets this summer, and bring the young Frenchman into Stamford Bridge and into the Premier League. The mooted reports around how much this is going to cost range from anything from 50 to 70 million pounds, depending on what publication you read. But one thing that stands out to be true is that this week, Chelsea are going to look to resolve, to get this deal done, and at the very least conclude matters. If something can't happen, Chelsea may end up having to look elsewhere. This is still a deal that Chelsea and Jules Kounde remain very, very confident about, very, very comfortable about. Of course, we know that Mr. Kounde has already agreed on personal deals with Chelsea. He is determined to join the Premier League. He is relaxed about the situation because he has been assured by Chelsea Football Club that they are going to do everything within their power to get this deal done. Could this be the week, of course, ahead of a mammoth London derby against Arsenal Football Club as well? Also talking Tammy Abraham on today's show. His move to Roma is pretty much over the line as it stands right now. What does this mean for Arsenal? There's talks of an Arteta sacking, which of course the brilliant people on Midnight Vibes went through in detail last night. We're taking your calls on all these subject matters and any questions that you have as well. Do me a big, big favor and smash the like button this morning. Get that like button hit. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. Make sure you sign up to our brand new notifications group. It's available via Telegram. The link for that is inside our description below. But you know what comes next, people? Let's go! Welcome back to the Terrace, everybody. Good morning. Hope you're all doing well. Let me know how you're getting on in the comment section. As you know, we always like to have a chat and have a talk. Very, very intriguing week in the transfer market it's going to be. There was that obvious lull from kind of Wednesday onward where all of the Premier League teams were very much focused on the games in hand, trying their best to get off to a very good start to the Premier League. And you saw how for certain clubs, like in Manchester Cities, that haven't concluded their business yet, the Arsenals that have got all types of turmoil going on, really struggling to get ahead of steam, to really find their feet for the opening day of the season. Whereas the Chelseas, although they're still chasing Jules Kounde, are in a very, very comfortable position. They've got a brilliant squad of players. They're only trying to improve it. Chelsea don't have massive holes. Unlike Man City that need a recognised goal scorer, unlike Arsenal that need 3 or 4 more players, you see Chelsea going into the start of the season in a really good shape. They're just trying to add to that. It should almost be illegal in many ways, and I mean that with a huge hint of jest. However, they're going to look to try and complete and conclude the Jules Kounde deal this week. Now, as we brought to you last week, we said, you can check the timestamp and dates. I'll scroll down, as you can see there on the 13th, a few days ago. We brought this to you that Chelsea would try and advance the situation this week. Chelsea would start to progress their potential transfer of Jules Kounde after the deal for Lukaku has concluded. You can go and, of course, check out that article on the Give Me Sport website, the brand new website for the Football Terrace. We have our own page and own settings over there now, so go and check that out at some point. But it's news that we we brought to you last week that we believe to be true. Of course, we get a lot of our information from the likes of Pete O'Rourke and Dean Jones and a plethora of other journalists, the likes of Sasha Tavalieri and many others. But now confidence is really starting to grow in the Jules Kounde and Chelsea camp that this deal could get done. This deal could be over the line very, very soon indeed. I want your views and opinions on this, though. First and foremost, make sure the like button has been hit. I've also shared the link in the comment sections now for you to phone up and have your say in relation to Jules Kounde. We want to talk Tammy Abraham today as well. Your thoughts on that deal going through. What does that mean for Arsenal? You know, is that enough money coming in for Chelsea to reinvest in the defense? Or are you a Chelsea fan that's now looking at this situation differently? A huge amount of Chelsea supporters over the course of this weekend telling us that actually we should focus on midfield now. We should be looking at a midfield player as opposed to a defender. The emergence of Chalobah, it's kind of changed a lot of people's thoughts and feelings. I want your take on this today. When we look at that poll right now, 76% of you that have voted believe that the deal is going to be done this week. Very, very interesting thoughts on that indeed. We have a super chat here from the father of Timothy Werner. It says that this could be crucial for Chelsea to get this deal done in the upcoming days. Any player, including Koundé, is just the icing on the cake. And I think you're bang on with that. I think you're absolutely bang on in relation to that. You know, it's icing on top of the cake time, no doubt about it at all. Timothy here says Lukaku on Ben White might be a low-key illegal to watch live on TV. It's going to be interesting indeed to see how that works out this week. Cole P says, morning to everybody. Hope you're well also. Forget Koundé, keep Chalobah. Why not both? Like, legitimately, I put a poll out the other day and a lot of Chelsea fans called me out saying, well, we could just do both. And you're absolutely right. I put the poll out in that polarized way because I saw a lot of polarization from Chelsea fans after another brilliant performance from the young Chelsea starlet. But why not have both? Why not use both? If you can move on, future-proof yourselves. The one thing I would say is that, you need to be mindful with Chalobah and the amount of game time he's going to get in his development. But why not? Morning, Ian Lee. I hope you are well. Hope you're good, my friend. Terry, have you heard anything more about Martinez? We've got some Martinez news coming up later on today, so make sure you stay with the Football Terrace. We're going to be delving into that. Terry, can you stop saying are relaxed about the deals? You are better than that. Not really. I mean, I'm going to say what I'm being told. And, the conversations I had yesterday afternoon again with a few people connected to this that have information on this deal, is they just said everybody's relaxed in the sense of Koundé isn't panicking that Chelsea are going to pull away. Chelsea feel they can still get this deal done. Sevilla are not trying to put Gazumpet. It's just around getting the finances sorted. And of course, when Kurt Zouma didn't, it's really simple. When Kurt Zouma didn't leave, it was creating a little bit of an FFP challenge for Chelsea Football Club. And not so much European FFP, but Premier League FFP. And they wanted to make sure they balance those books. And that shouldn't be a shock to any Chelsea fan. One of the reasons that they deliberated so long over Haaland is because they were worried about the medium and long-term impacts upon FFP. Yes, things may be relaxed for a year or so, but you can't just throw baby out with the bathwater, caution to the wind, and destroy the next 4 or 5 years for your club financially based on having 1 year where they're not going to look at you in an unfavorable light. So it makes a lot of sense. We know how much he's there. Chelsea, there was talk earlier on that, they could end up paying up to £90 million for Jules Kounde. Now, that wasn't so much the transfer fee. That was all being included. Agent fees, transfer fees. Of course, they've got to segregate in terms of salary for the player. And Chelsea just had to work on the structure of that deal to get it done because Kurt Zouma didn't leave. If Kurt Zouma would have agreed to the swap deal, this deal would have, Jules Kounde would have probably played in a Chelsea shirt at the weekend. He would have been in the squad for the Super Cup, no doubt. But of course, Kurt Zouma stopped that. And now Chelsea are not angry with Kurt Zouma. There's no frustration there. It's, they respect Kurt Zouma as a player and as a man, and he's got to pick and do what's right for him in his career. Looking forward to seeing Lukaku this weekend. Need to take Arsenal seriously, though. They always turn up against us, is what Artem here has got to say. That is absolutely spot on. You're absolutely spot on with that. It's definitely something that you have to take seriously. To not take Arsenal seriously and just to write them off, I think could be very, very dangerous indeed. Very, very dangerous indeed for Arsenal Football Club. They do need to take it seriously. David here says, morning, Terry. After all the TFT, I'm still buzzing from United. Made my weekend with the neighbours also losing. Varane unveiling, also amazing. Cheers, Ollie. I feel like a United fan of old again. Do you know what was interesting about this week? This weekend was brilliant for so many reasons. And I think one of the biggest reasons for me that kind of stood out that made me really happy, of course, was Man United winning so well. Winning with all due respect, with such ease in the end. It was a very simplistic victory for Manchester United in the end when you look back at the game. But what really pleased me was the way in which Man United went about things, the way we conducted ourselves, the way we behaved, the way we operated on the football pitch was brilliant. But above and beyond everything else, it was just very much a case of it was just great seeing fans back. Match-going fans made the return this weekend at every stadium. And this has long been since an argument on social media. Who's more important, armchair fans or match-going fans? Who are the best fans? Who are the better fans? Who love the club the most? I cut through all that nonsense. I don't really care. It's very hard for me to say I love something more than you when I'm not inside your head. I can't feel your emotions. However, without match-going fans, our TV experience isn't as good. One of the reasons that the Premier League has grown so much has been the unique noise, passion, and adrenaline-filled the adrenaline-filled sort of cauldron-like atmosphere that Premier League grounds create. And of course, there are lots of good teams across Europe that create great atmospheres. But we have a unique ability in the UK to have this at almost every single ground, even outside the Premier League. It's one of the things that makes our game so appealing on television is the sound of the crowds. One of the biggest reasons that a lot of money fell out of Italy after the 90s was financial issues in the country and a dwindling attendances to games, which meant the atmospheres left the stadiums. Thus, TV viewing wasn't as good. Look at it during lockdown. TV numbers were good. That's because everybody was trapped in their houses, but the atmosphere wasn't great. So I think that was the biggest thing for me this weekend, was seeing like everybody back at grounds, having fun, having a good time. Yeah, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing indeed. We're going to go to your calls very soon on the terrace, but before we start going to fan calls, let's get this stream past at least. Let's aim towards 500 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get that done right now. Smash that button for us. Share the stream across your social media platforms as well. Go and get that done, my people. Lots more transfer news coming later on today. Big Mbappe stories brewing. Lautaro Martinez stories brewing as well. Arteta facing the sack as well. Lots to talk about, lot to delve into. Make sure you hit that like and that share button. And let's take a look here. Arteta in, Glazers in is what Bob Jr. has got to say. Of course you're going to say that. Why would you not say that? Love it. Absolutely love it. Let's do some more comments here. Without internationals, the fan bases would be tiny. You clown. You're talking about me. Of course, the international fan bases are very, very important. Everybody's key. The global fan bases are needed to generate the money to make us powerful. The local and the match-going fans are needed to create the atmospheres which make our TV viewing so compelling. It's hand and glove. The disrespect that sometimes each group show each other, I find crazy. But there we go. Not me. There we go. Terry, are the Conte links true? I spoke to a couple of journalists last night. None of them have heard anything credible coming out of Arsenal at all about Koundé coming in. We'll respect the article. We'll respect the news coming out of Italy that may be the case. But I haven't heard anything of any sort confirming that is true. Terry took it personal. A little bit there. I was just a little bit taken aback. I was like, I didn't know. I didn't mean to upset anyone. But there we go. Right, we're going to start going to your calls now. Want to talk about this deal? Want to see what people are saying, thinking and feeling about it? Right, who are we going to go to first here? First on the show this morning, we're going to get Matt on to have his say. We're also going to be going to the father of Timo Werner as well, ACFC as well. Many other callers to come. Hit that like and share button, people. Let's do this. Morning, Matty. How are you?
I'm all right, boss. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Give me your thoughts on the Jules Kounde news. Excited at the
Well,
prospect of it being concluded this week?
yeah, absolutely. I think he's a good signing. I think as well it will be good to have three very good defenders at the back. I think Chalobah had a good debut as well on Saturday, and it's sort of something for Chalobah to learn from as well. Because I mean, Koundé is a very good defender. For anybody that seems to write him off, he is a really good young defender, and he's one for the future. So um, I think it'd be a good signing. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think he will. I think he'll be a good signing for the club, and you know, take you forward, propel you in the way in which you need to in the way in which you need to move. There's no doubt about that at all. I think what's interesting to see is how he's going to fit in when it comes to the situation with when it comes into the situation with um getting game time. But then equally though, you've got Aspi and you've got Thiago Silva who are at the back end of their career as it were. So you kind of have to look at the fact that at some point these individuals need to be blended in, and you need to, and that needs to happen. It's one of the biggest mistakes Manchester United, in my opinion, made at the back end of Fergie's career is that we didn't have ready-made replacements for, for the outgoing Vidic's, etc. of this world. We didn't have anybody that could just step in and be the man to get things done. Really frustrating for us, but it looks like you're future-proofing yourself in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the only thing that I'm more worried about now is that obviously we've got the defence sorted now. I think, in my opinion, I think the one thing that I'm more worried about really now is that we've let go of Giroud. Yes, we've brought in Lukaku, but we've let go of quite a few loanies as well out on loan. Tammy's out through the door, so obviously it's going to be Lukaku and Timo Werner. I mean, I'm debating on whether or not this is for yourself and for the fan base in particular. Do Chelsea need a backup striker?
Maybe. I mean, I think you're okay though. I think you're okay in that area. I mean, what do you think?
Um, I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, even if we had somebody in the twilight of their years, to kind of cover the bases while if Lukaku gets injured or Timo is not, Timo's injured or whatever, you know, and let's face it, we've seen injury records before now where you've seen Liverpool who have had defensive injuries and it cost them the title last season. But it could be the case of we could do with somebody like a Giroud who is on the bench, who is prepared to put in a first class performance when he gets onto the pitch, and somebody that's
Yeah,
a
I
backup
do get,
really.
I do get that, but I think the way you've got to look at this legitimately is you have got Timo Werner that's going to be given this season. You've got Kai Havertz that can play within that kind of role if he's needed, and Thomas Tuchel is the caliber of manager that can get your team to operate with the false nine element as well. So I wouldn't necessarily be I wouldn't necessarily be worried or concerned about that as a Chelsea fan going into this season. But Matt, great call as ever, mate. Thank you very much for
Thanks,
coming on and
Terry.
having us. Really appreciate it, Matty. Top man. Thank you. We have some breaking news for you, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news right now on the football terrace. Let's check this out. According to Football London, Granit Xhaka has signed a new contract at Arsenal until 2025. That deal is now agreed and over the line, according to Football.London. Arsenal fans, give us your thoughts and give us your feelings on this news. Olivier Giroud is going to continue. Olivier Giroud, sorry, Granit Xhaka is going to continue at Arsenal Football Club for the foreseeable future. I want to know your thoughts and your feelings on that. I'm intrigued to know. How you feel about this, Arsenal fans. But that big breaking news in there: Granit Xhaka signs a new deal to remain at Arsenal Football Club. Could this end any pursuit of a new of a new midfielder for yourselves. It means I've got to wear a Liverpool shirt for some match reaction shows. I am absolutely fuming about that myself. A super chat here says, "Good morning, Terry. Who do you think will be a better defender between Kounde and Koundé?" That's a really good question. My money right now is on Jules Kounde. And that's not based on ability. That's based on who I think is going to stay, who's going to get the most minutes and stay the fittest. Konate's got an amazing ceiling, but I'm still not convinced about him staying injury-free. That would be my concern if I was a Liverpool fan about him. Liverpool supporters don't like hearing this. They think that I'm being overtly negative. Oh, you're just putting him down. You're putting him down. But there we go. Someone here telling me to fix up my mods. What's wrong with our mods? What are the mods doing now? Mods better not be blocking people for doing nothing wrong. And whatever, you're doing it, just act a little bit professionally, please. If you're a mod, do you know what I mean? No nonsense, no craziness. Just, you know what I mean? Sit there and be good. I don't need anyone moaning about that. Scousers are sensitive. Do you know what's funny? We shared a clip from our Bet Victor show yesterday where Jess states that she thinks Leicester might tip them. And obviously it was a 50-second clip. It's an advertising clip. Go and watch the full show, where she speaks about how they've got a bit of a skeleton squad and they need to refresh because they've gone a bit stale. And I've had Liverpool fans reaching out to me, "Terry, I can't believe you didn't challenge her. I can't believe you think that not buying new players to an established squad can make it go stale." The anger, it's well, one, watch the show. There was definitely challenge from the other panelists, questions from me, but equally handle a difference of opinion. It was very telling, very, very telling from my point of view to see that. It really, really was. But there we go. Terry, when are we selling Werner? Not this summer, to say the least. Not at all. Terry would look good in a Liverpool top. Please don't. I pray that Arsenal, honestly, if they sign some 15-year-old midfielder, I'm taking that as they signing another midfielder. I'm desperate not to wear that Liverpool shirt, I tell you. South London's finest spent all summer with Xhaka wanting to leave. Now he's staying and signing a new contract. Same old Arsenal is what South London's finest has got to say here. Make sure you phone in and have your say on any of these breaking news stories that are coming out today, live here on the Football Terrace. Of course, it's also been officially announced today as well that we've also seen the official announcement of, I don't remember his name now, but I should remember his name. He's a Man United player, of Raphael Varane as well. As we can see here, it's officially announced now. He is a Manchester United player, as you can see. We already had the announcement, but then the little video clip comes out. I'm sure there's going to be some interviews and whatnot coming a little bit later on today in relation to that, which is great. Really looking forward to seeing that myself. I am. What do Chelsea's backline look like with Jules Kounde? I think there's so many options if Jules Kounde comes in for Chelsea, and that's the exciting element for Chelsea fans. It's what does this look like? What does this mean? How can this benefit us? And I think that's something that Chelsea fans need to be very, very excited about. You can play with a back four with him as one of your centre backs, or in a fullback position. He can play wide right if he needs to. He can play in a 2. He can play in a 3. He's even got the footballing capabilities to cover in those midfield areas if required. Am I saying he's going to be a world-class central midfield player? No, that isn't the point I'm making. But he has great versatility. And Jules Kounde, Hakimi was looked at. Hakimi was looked at because of his versatility. That's exactly why Chelsea have been looking at Jules Kounde as well as a football player. He has the ability to play in a number of positions. Centre-back being the main one. He can play on the left or the right-hand side of that as well. Tremendous football player, and Chelsea fans should be very excited indeed. Chombe, who's a Liverpool fan, says, "Please don't tell me I am crazy. I believe the title race is between the two English giants, Man United and Liverpool." Listen, I think certainly both those teams could be in a title race. I think both those teams could be in a title race. I think it would be a madness to sign, to write off any of those teams. Legitimately would be a write-off. But Chelsea, for me, are there. They are legitimately there. They are challenging, and they are going to push. They are very much going to push Manchester United Man City, Man United, and Liverpool every single step of the way. And I don't think that that should be scoffed at in any way, in any shape, or in any form. We're going to do some more calls in a minute. We're going to be getting the Cosy Arsenal podcast on with us in a moment. We also have Timothy as well, Timothy's father. It's hard when people have got usernames that are weird, like Timothy, like father of Timo Werner, sorry, like whoever that is. We'll see if we can get him on. Sarim says, Terry, for me, Liverpool falls out of the race during AFCON. I hope that I am wrong. Well, don't let too many Liverpool fans hear you say that, because they'll be annoyed that I'm not challenging. It's why Liverpool need more signings. I don't understand. It's two things which I'm surprised Liverpool fans are not accepting as fair points. Extra strength in depth, but there is staleness. And staleness I talk about is that front line hasn't been rejuvenated much in the past 3 to 4 years. The midfield, let's see how Thiago gets on. He is a bit of rejuvenation. But who is, like, how many Liverpool fans are legitimately confident that Jordan Henderson, Naby, and the Ox stay fit for large parts of the season? I would be confident of that. And if those if they get those injuries, you'll then get the injuries cost us. No, not having replacements cost you. You know, people always look at the first layer of problem, but the 5 whys. If you get injuries and you don't have replacements, why? The injuries are a part of it. You know, building a squad that has great strength. Like, people keep challenging Man City. Oh, they didn't need Jack Grealish. Why'd they buy Jack Grealish? It was crazy. Well, if Raheem Sterling ruptures a cruciate ligament tomorrow, they've got cover, haven't they? Now, £100 million is excessive, but when you're owned by a billionaire and you've got the money, so what? At the end of the day, who's better for them to come on? Do you know what I mean? Zinchenko or Jack Grealish in an attacking area? Like, it's just crazy. It's strength in depth is so key. It's unbelievable. Terry, Chelsea are linked with Sal Niguez. Yep. Football Terrace via Peter O'Rourke brought that to you first 5 weeks ago now. Chelsea were one of the first clubs to make inquiries, along with Liverpool, in for the availability of Sal Niguez earlier on this summer. I saw Fabrizio Romano speak about it yesterday. Not new news. It's just something Chelsea and Man United haven't really pursued Sal Niguez because he's been asking for 300 grand a week. Barcelona reportedly coming back in for him. Can they afford to pay him? Nobody quite knows yet. His first choice is Barcelona. If that deal can't get done, he will look elsewhere. Liverpool have been in advanced talks to Sal Niguez for a while. They haven't continued talking every single day. They've offered him a contract. They know how much to pay for the player, between 30 and 40 million pounds. It will be agreed fee-wise. But so far, Sal Niguez has said no to Liverpool because they don't want to pay him what he's currently earning now. It's a big poker game at this moment in time. We're going to go to a call. We're going to get the Cozy Arsenal podcast on here with us now. Smash that like button. Make sure you phone in and have your say today, people. Welcome back to the Football Terrace, mate. What are you here to say?
Hello, Terry. How are you doing?
I'm very well. What do you want to say, my friend?
Granit Xhaka aside, I mean, my afternoon just got spoiled. Granit Xhaka, and anyway, congratulations to us. I think we basically got what we wanted. I thought we were gonna get in a midfielder. Definitely, I thought we were gonna get in a central midfielder. Depending on the links and the volume and magnitude of links, reports linking us to new central midfielders, I thought it was 100%. But Xhaka is staying. You know what, Terry? Paul Pogba created 4 assists in the first game against Leeds. Xhaka is not even going to create 4 assists in the whole season. And we signed. Why did we sign him? Because of the Euros? Did he? How many chances did he create in the Euros? How many? Because of some good passes in the Euros. I'm disgusted, honestly, Terry. I'm disgusted with this football club. Not because we lost to Brentford, but because it's all a lie. It's all a lie, Terry. And if you look at Chelsea now, buying Jules Kounde, buying romelu Lukaku, they're not even thinking about this title. They're thinking about 5 seasons dominating, because they could dominate London, they could dominate football for 3-4 years with Lukaku, Jules Kounde, the likes of Kai Havertz. That is not next. They're not looking at last season or this season. They're looking at 3, 4, 5 years up front. And for us keeping Xhaka and giving him a new contract, adding him more money, I don't get it. What has Xhaka done to deserve more money? At least, okay, for the years we could we could agree. The player said, if you want to keep me around, I need a longer term contract, right? But what has he done to deserve more money? If you compare him to all the central midfielders, and this is for me what some Arsenal fans don't see. If you compare him to the central midfielders in the league, where does he rank? If Liverpool are trying have Thiago and they're trying to get Saul Niguez, if Chelsea have Jorginho and they're trying to get Saul Niguez, if Manchester United, I feel like if Pogba leaves, we're getting Saul Niguez. Where does Xhaka rank? And what for me that actually speaks it all, about Arsenal, about our transfer policy, about what we want to be, about our ambitions. It's just trash, Terry. Thank you for the show, bro. I really love it, and I always tune in. Whether I call in or don't, I always tune in.
Listen, man, I feel and I hear your pain 110%. I truly, truly do. And I feel for you. As I always say this, I banter my rivals, but I feel your pain. I feel for you. I hate to see this. I hate to see football clubs run badly. I hate to see football fans being disrespected. And, when you see what the other clubs around you are doing, and there's no way you have, like Arsenal Football Club's fan base size, stadium, sponsors, your income and your money, you're not a pauper compared to Man United. You're not a pauper compared to Chelsea and Man City in terms of what they're able, like, although they're owned by billionaires, there's only a limit to how much they can spend. Can they spend more than you? Yes. But can you spend better than Granit Xhaka? Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You legitimately can. And for me, what's going to be interesting, and watch this space now, look out for the big Arsenal accounts. Look out for the big Arsenal aggregators, the big Arsenal journalists. Watch them over the next few weeks try and spin this and protect the football club, basically to get their access and to make themselves look good. Like those big Arsenal accounts need to step up and say something here. Great call, my friend. Thank you for coming on the terrace today and having your say. Top man. Thank you. We want more calls from you all today. We've got some breaking news before that, though. Some breaking news here again this morning on the Football Terrace. Paris Saint-Germain are willing to pay Paul Pogba a huge €600,000 a week contract when his contract runs out with Man United at the end of this season. They are keen to ensure his signing by significantly outspending their rivals. They did the same thing with Gini Wijnaldum. That report has come direct from the Independent, a highly credible source within sort of the UK journalistic scene. And as you can see, Paul Pogba, we know he's after a large amount of money. A performance like that at the weekend was always going to stir up conversation, was always going to get the sort of the media talking about him. There was no doubt about that whatsoever. But there you have it from the Independent, willing to pay Paul Pogba €600,000 a week. Should Man United follow suit? Should Manchester United stand up, step up, and do something about that? 400 grand a week is reportedly what it would take. What it would take to make him a re-sign at Manchester United. And look, don't get overly gassed with the 4. He's not getting 4 assists every week. No player has ever done that, and probably ever will do that. However, it's certainly a bit of business. I think Manchester United should be considering, in my opinion. They really, really should. Just want to show you all something as well here. It's been launched today. This is our page on the Give Me Sport website, one of the biggest sports websites on the planet. You can see you've got all the top taggles up here. See the mouse, but there we have it. There is the Football Terrace's own tag. You click on that there, takes you through to the Football Terrace page. More and more articles are going to be added to this very soon. Probably got to sort my thumbnail out a bit better, but there you'll see my story today of Jules Kounde to Chelsea about to conclude this week. Of course, you see my little bits and pieces. You can see the little bits here. Of course, my tweet embedded there. That's the new article. We'll go back to the homepage, though, and you can see as we did put that in to conclude next week a couple of days ago, as you can see. So we're going to start to keep our receipts here now. Trying to get a couple of articles out each and every single day on the Football Terrace website. We are also going to be seeking out some of you guys, maybe some budding young writers that want to get involved and do some pieces for us. get that done. So thank you to our partners over at Give Me Sport for setting that up. And very, very excited indeed to be part of the snack family and everything else that comes with that. This is literally phase one of all the changes. Very, very excited indeed. But what I need from you all this morning is that like button to be smashed, people. We're nowhere near 500 likes. What the hell is going on? Let's get that done right about now, people. And by the way, a few people have sent me some WhatsApp messages in the last few days. I don't have a phone. I dropped it on the floor. It's broken. Watch. It's going to flash, right? What's this flash that comes? Oh, it's working! It's come back on! It's working! You can see here. Look, I take my SIM card out. Can you see this? That's my son, by the way. It started working again! Look, see the screen smashed in the top corner. Can you see that? I thought it's not going to focus. Focus on the phone. Oh, you can see that there. I dropped it. It's back! It's back! I'm so happy it's back on. I don't know if it's going to work or not. It's been green for a day. It's come back on. Yes! Oh, yes. Do you know why I'm happy? Because I was going to have to go out today and spend hours getting it fixed, and I've got my time back. I need to go gym. Woo! 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 I have no time in this world. I have no time. Zero. I actually sat and watched a film last night called Beckett. Brilliant film on Netflix. First time I've sat down for like 2 weeks and just been a little time for me. Oh, the terrace brought it back to life. Oh. It's gone again. It's gone again. No, it's gone again. Look, it's gone again. It's broke. It's gone. Oh, it died. It died. No. It died in the air. It's dead. Actually, at least I know it's a screen, though. And I can get that fixed. Oh, that's celebrating for nothing. Anyway, smash that like and that share button, people. James is on the terrace with me now. Actually, I've got a super chat to do first. Sorry. It says, Man United have to keep Paul Pogba no matter what because he is the best midfielder in the world. If it was up to me, I'd be happy. If it was up to me, I'd be happy that he leaves. Yeah, he is the best midfielder in the world. And between Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes, we have the best midfield combination in the world as well. The techers and the passing and the vision of Pogba, the brilliant goal scoring of Bruno. But the great thing is, Bruno's passing is really good, and Pogba's pretty good at finishing shots as well if he's in those positions. What a pair we have. What a pair we have. But James is on the show now with me this morning. Let's do this, people.
What up, Terry?
Mate, Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka.
Yeah. It's a bad thing and it's a good thing as well. It's, for me, him signing the contract extension highlights our summer. It's just been how poorly we've handled it. We haven't been able to shift players out, haven't been able to get the value we want for players. And the players we have bought, yes, they look promising, but from what we're seeing now, we obviously had a limited budget against all of the reports saying we were going to spend big. And I know that was dependent on player sales, but the allocation of our funds has left us short a lot. I was excited about the Ben White signing. I do think it's going to be a good signing, but when you drop 50 mil on a centre-back, when you could have spent that in two positions, like a right-back and a central midfielder, or something that was more pressing for our team. You saw it against Brentford. You saw how dysfunctional we were against Brentford. Yeah. So yeah, I'm mixed emotions about it. Like, he had a really good season. Well, not really. He had a good season for Granit Xhaka last season. He played so many games for us, and obviously he had a good Euros. But it was the summer to part ways with him. It just, I feel like we hold on to players for too long. We don't know when the right time is to move them on. And now that he's going to be here for another 4 years, it just seemed like we needed to freshen up our midfield. Having him as a midfield option isn't bad. It's just the fact that him being tied down now means, like I'm 99% confident we're not going to bring another central midfielder in. And we desperately need another central midfielder in, considering our central midfield options are Granit Xhaka, El Neni, Lokonga, and Thomas Partey, right? And we let go of Joe Willock, who could have done a really good shift as a central midfielder, and he was goal scoring as well. So it's just poor. It's just poor from how we've done our business this summer.
It absolutely is. And there's some more breaking news here this morning, people. Let's do this. Granit Xhaka deal completed and confirmed. Fabrizio Romano tells us this, but he also mentions here again, Arsenal working on the deal to sign Odegaard on a permanent deal, waiting for the green light from Real Madrid to submit the official bid. So it also looks like Odegaard. We knew that was the worst kept secret in football, James, that deal was on its way, that deal was coming in, that deal could be concluded soon. Do you know what I love about the way Fabrizio writes about transfers? It's like Arsenal waiting for the green light to submit the bid, which means Real Madrid know what the official bid is. It's already been agreed to. What are they waiting for? Like, do you get what I mean? It's, that's why I say to people when it's like offer's been made. No, we haven't made an offer yet. Well, you must have done though, because what's the green light? What are you waiting for them to do? It's more so Real Madrid making their minds up as to whether or not we want to sell him as opposed to accepting. And that's what a lot of this comes down to. I'm looking at the Spurs situations, the same. It's, Man City will submit a bid if Spurs change their minds. You mean they already know what the bid is going to be? They'll just say, if you want to officially send it now, we'll accept it. It's all a game. But Odegaard on a permanent deal, Granit Xhaka signing. How does that make you feel as an Arsenal fan?
Granit Xhaka, as I said, mixed emotions. Again, it's like Ben White. If we would have signing Ben White isn't the issue. It's just the mismanagement of how we've gone about our business. Signing Odegaard, by all accounts of what we're going to pay for him, I don't know the exact amount, but it's anywhere between, I think it's like 30 to 40 mil. That's a good price for what he is, what we've seen before, what his stint was at the Prem, and what his ceiling is. So I think that's a fair price. It's just our squad is so mismanaged. We have so many holes that we need to fill. And I wanted Maddison. I'm not going to be mad at Odegaard, but I don't know when I'm just not filled with confidence. The gap between Arsenal Football Club now to compare to the top 4, top 5, even top 6 is the biggest it's ever been, I think. We haven't spent the amount of funds that we needed to. Like last season, you can see it from an outside perspective that how bad of a season it was and how many things that we needed to sort within our squad, bringing in quality and getting rid of players that weren't right for our squad. You add Mikel Arteta being a manager that I want to see him do well. I'm not Arteta in, I'm not Arteta out. I just want Arsenal to do well. If that's with Arteta, great. If that's not, and it's with another manager, great. But you haven't really been able to see, apart from a few, maybe Saka, maybe Smith Rowe, his ability to get the best out of what our squad is. I think if you bring in a more experienced manager, we are better off, but we're nowhere near where we need to be. And it's incompetence throughout the ownership, Edu, Arteta. It just reeks. It just reeks of incompetence. And yeah, I'm happy with Odegaard, but I'm not optimistic about the season like I was on a few calls like 3 weeks ago. So,
mate, I totally hear you on that. And it's about them pulling it out the bag now. It's about them. Like I've said, I praise the approach. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the execution and the deliverance. Do you know what I mean? If I go out, buy the best ingredients, I'm making a nice Sunday roast, and I buy the best potatoes, fresh veg, get really good meat. I prep it all perfectly. I set the table looking amazing. I get the great wine in. If I burn the chicken and make it dry, and I overboil the veg, and I overcook the potatoes, the dinner's still shit. I've done all the hard work leading up to it. If I burn and overcook the dinner and it tastes like crap, all the prep and all the work and all the shopping, getting the house tidied up, do you know what I mean? All those things, none of that matters anymore because you've ruined it. And that's what I'm looking at Arsenal. Like they've done all the hard work, I feel, but they've left the chicken in the oven too long. Do you know what I mean?
They haven't executed.
Yeah, exactly.
They haven't executed on it. It's the one positive I thought that was going to come out of us not being in Europe is to trim the squad. We have our squad size is a squad size for a team that is in Europe. we don't have the luxury of having those games to offer players, fringe players, young players, the games that they need to either increase their value in the market or to gain experience and make them better players for us in the future. We don't have those games anymore. And I think I'm not saying it is inexcusable to not even be able to find some deals that allow players to move on. I would have accepted Bellerin going to Inter with a loan to buy option if it meant he wasn't in the squad that opened up a place for us to go and buy a right back like Max Aarons. But the fact that he stayed in the squad, again, it's incompetence. We haven't been able to utilize clubs that are looking to negotiate with us for players, Roma, Inter, that should have been moved on, and we haven't even taken advantage of that. And I get the fact that Granit Xhaka's price was too low, but the fact that we sold Joe Willock, who wasn't in our squad for half of the season last year, for 25 million, we could have gotten about 14 million for Granit Xhaka. That's close to 40 million quid that we could have spent on a quality central midfielder like Yves Bissouma, for example. He would have done, with a partnership of him and Thomas Partey, he would have elevated us, not to where we needed to be, but it's a big step in the right direction. And it's just the fact that they haven't taken advantage of that. And we got, 2 weeks left of the window? We don't have the time now to complete all of the deals we need to do. So it's like the past 3 or 4 seasons where we started off okay, we've looked promising, then we haven't taken advantage of what's on the table for us, and now we're left lagging behind the competition.
110%, mate. I couldn't agree with you more. James, top man as always. Speak to you again soon, mate. Thank you very much indeed. We have another super chat here that says, my legendary membership was cancelled due to a payment and I tried to sign up again and the server won't allow me. Can you send me the link, please? I'm very sorry about that. I will post the link. I don't know where the link is. I will post the link now into the excuse me, into the comment section for you, my friend. I don't know why it's done that. They do it every now and then. People should check on their membership stuff. I'm going to post the link to become a member now into the live chat functionality. There we go. Okay, so next on the show, Chelsea fan Lamin is with me. What you saying, bro?
Morning, Terry. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very, very well. What's on your mind, buddy?
Yeah, so the Jules Kounde deal being completed. I think I said my thoughts on it before. I'm very happy with it. I think the more the merrier, really. We need to have squad depth, so he's going to improve. Chalobah, having him is going to be really good. The other thing I saw this morning as well, I don't know how true it is. I'm really not holding my breath on it, but I saw links that we could go in for Jude Bellingham as an alternative to Declan Rice. I really don't know how true it is, but if it was, then I think it's something that would be really good for us personally.
Well, yeah, Dean spoke about this on Friday's Done Deal show. Essentially, Jude Bellingham is an option. Jude Bellingham is legitimately an option for Chelsea. It won't be one this year. He simply was saying it's a player that Chelsea are going to heavily scout over the course of this season, and there is the potential to move towards him or for him going into next year. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. As an example, very talented young man, and look, Jude Bellingham. What I would also say is this: he is the type of player and the caliber of player that everybody wants. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
that isn't sort of exclusive to Chelsea. Everybody's going to be looking at him 110% because he's so bloody good. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. In terms of Jules Kounde, I mean, where do you stand on this kind of Jules Kounde conversation where some people are saying, get him, keep Chalobah. Some are saying, get him, loan Chalobah. Some are saying, just let Chalobah play and don't bother with Jules Kounde. Where do you stand on that conversation?
I think we should get both of them in. Because where I stand is that I think this is Thiago Silva's last season at Chelsea. Rudiger hasn't signed a new contract, even though I think he will sign it. Thiago Silva will go. Aspi, Aspi surprises me every single season, but I think he's probably got 1 or 2 seasons left max. So what we're basically doing is just securing for the future. Like going forward, I don't expect us to spend too much in the transfer window next season and this season after, because we've got enough depth in there to cover us for the next 3 to 4 years, 5 years, I could say, because of how young our squad is. I think there will be plenty of game times for both of them, so I'm really not that worried. I think it's like you said, the cream always rise to the top. So if we always adding in quality, I'm never ever gonna be against that. So yeah, that's just how I see it.
I hear you on that. Lamin, great call, mate. Thanks for coming on the terrace again this morning. Top man. Thank you. Cheers, buddy. South London's finest here, bigging up the football terrace. Absolutely. Let's get this past the 500 like mark, please. We're about 90 shy of that. That'd be amazing if we could do that this morning. Top bins from just looking there towards him, Lamin, saying he's 100% correct. We won't have as many defenders by next season. And it's future-proofing. Football fans sometimes look at football too much in the here and now. Oh, we already got... I hear Man United fans say it a lot. Whenever you've got like we don't need another winger. Yeah, but look at the age profile of all your inside forwards. You know, Jules Kounde might go somewhere else next summer. Maybe by next summer, a few more teams have sorted out their finances. If you can get him now, get it done. Managers love to have the headache of not knowing who to pick because they've got too many players that are good enough. It's a great headache to have. It really is. Terry, I hope you're well. Any Liverpool news? Nothing major, really. Nothing major coming out of Liverpool, barring the Jordan Henderson signing a new deal, but nothing really to kind of write home about in any particular way, as it were. Artem here with a super chat says, I actually think next year we might be active again in the market because we will be getting rid of the wages from deadwood players. Do you know what I would say? It depends what happens. Declan Rice, I think next summer is a player that you could very much be going after. As an example, there's so much to kind of consider and put out around there. West Ham definitely not looking to sell him now. He will be. It's always been highly likely. Listen to what Dean Jones has said many times. Always highly likely that he would. Declan Rice would remain a Chelsea, a West Ham player for the majority of this season because him and them, they collectively they almost priced themselves out of a move. 80 to 100 million pound fee plus the player himself wants 200 and something grand a week. That isn't a kind of deal that clubs can afford to do at the moment. If that position has not been deemed a priority position for them. We're closing in on that 500 like mark now. Next caller we're going to go to is going to be the father of Timo Werner, who's been waiting very, very patiently for a while now. Welcome back to the terrace, my friend. What do you want to say?
Yeah, good morning, boss. How are you now?
Very, very well, my friend. I'm very well indeed. What are you here to say?
Yeah, this very excited right now. We get this kind of news about Jules Kounde. There's going to be a lot of competition in the back line for sure. And what Tuchel's trying to do is not like right now, maybe like in a few years' time, in case of Thiago Silva leaves the team, Azpilicueta having still got a few years left in his pocket, and like it or not, Silva, Rudiger, and Kounde will fight for a place, but Chalobah is already guaranteed a starting 11, and Zumas this season, will be likely to leave, I would say, because the way that the system works with Tuchel, and he's not going to be in the longer plans in the upcoming year with Thomas Tuchel. And Thiago Silva as well, unlikely to play over 3,000 minutes. So we can't go 70 games of the season in a season with 4 centre backs for 3 positions, especially with the heavy international break calendar for 3 out of 4. So yeah, exciting times right now as a Chelsea fan, and not only defender that I would be keen for as well, maybe in the midfield as well, because Kante's picked up ankle injury a couple of days ago prior to the Crystal Palace game, and I think the last thing that we need from Kante is that we overplaying a lot and it's severely damaging his ankle. So I'll be keen to hear from you as well about the midfield situation, because I think that could be the cherry on top as well.
Yeah, listen, the midfield, it could be the cherry on top of the icing on top of the cake. It could. I don't see the midfield, a major midfield signing happening at Chelsea this summer, just based on what we're hearing. The Sal Niguez thing could rear its head. And these are where you sometimes get a slight surprise transfer. So let's say he can't go to Barca and Liverpool don't offer him above 150 base salary a week. Chelsea might go, look at that, 35 million quid for a Sal Niguez. And they take a punt on him. Does that make sense? You know, Man United didn't have any plans this summer to sign Rafael Varane. And then the deal presented itself to Man United. So I don't think Chelsea are going to pay Sal Niguez 300,000 euros a week to play for them. But if his only option is Liverpool at 150 and Chelsea come in and say, look, we'll pay you 190 plus incentives, same transfer fee, you could get a deal done there. I think, you know, the Declan Rice deal, as we mentioned, looks pretty much done and dusted and over. But it's exciting times ahead for Chelsea fans. You've got a brilliant squad, an excellent manager, started the season well. And how confident are you of beating Arsenal this weekend?
Very confident. We got Lukaku up front. Why are we scared of Arsenal? We're the super champions of Europe for a reason. They're not in a good situation. So we have no sympathy what they're doing right now. So why not go to that game in the matter of confidence that we've got? Lukaku's literally just coming out from the self-isolation and he's going to be joining the squad soon. It'd be interesting to see what Tuchel's lineup going to be on Sunday. It's a massive headache for sure, and it's a great headache for us to have as a fans. And there could be a lot of unhappy faces in our fan base that would like to see their players to start. So exciting time at the moment, and let's just hope this game against Arsenal, even though this is against Arsenal's side, it's not a great side at the moment, but we haven't won against them since 2019, nearly 2 years, and we lost them 3 times last season. So I hope this will be the one to break the duck.
Yeah, now listen, I hear you on that, and it's going to be an interesting one to say the least, to see what happens here. There's no doubt about it. Great call, my friend. Thanks for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate it. Thank you. A super chat here says it keeps sending me to the main page. I will try again later or tomorrow. I'm really sorry. I'm not too sure why it's doing that. The membership link. Yeah, give it a little check tomorrow and see what it's saying. Thank you very much, buddy. Ahmed here says, good morning, Terry. Any updates regarding new signings at Man United? Nothing major. A lot of the talks for the Trippiers and the Neves have slowed down. It was about exits from Man United. No one's really come in for any of our players yet. I would say watch this space over the next 2 weeks, 2 weeks until the end of the transfer window. If West Ham come back in and put a big bid in for Jesse, you know, if a bid or two comes in for someone like a Matic, you could then see Man United move for a Neves. But at the moment, it's about waiting for players to leave before Man United try and sign someone. That's what I would say. So, that's where things are at, Ahmed. That's where things are at with that, my buddy. Breaking news we've already mentioned here. Declan Rice staying at West Ham. Declan Rice to remain at West Ham. This is the news today that comes to us from The Athletic this morning, talking about this. Interesting update, really. £100 million was the asking price at large parts of the season. It says here he's focused on helping the team this season and is looking forward to their European campaign. Yeah, there wasn't a major push from Declan Rice to leave, as we know. He was also asking for big money to leave, but it looks as though now he will be remaining at West Ham for at least 12 more months to see what he's valued. The interesting thing is this, is what is his valuation going to be in a year's time? That's what I would be focusing on now as a Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, those 3 teams inquired about him this year. If he has another very good season, excels in Europe, his valuation is going to remain the same or go up. If more money returns to football, it's going to go up. And this is the one thing that's crazy about it. People always moan about the money things cost without looking further down the line. If Declan Rice has a bad season, he's going to drop in value, but then you're going to want him. If he has a very good season again, it's going to cost more money. You're then going to be, you might end up then paying more than what was initially requested of him. But we'll see what happens there. By the way, make sure you go and check out my Twitter page, ladies and gentlemen. The growth on it has been absolutely wonderful in recent times. There you can see it at Terry Flewers. Go and check that out for me right about now, ladies and gentlemen. Be amazing if you could. Go and give me a follow. The link for it is inside. It actually isn't. The link for my Twitter page is not what we have in the description. It's actually the Football Terrace page that's there. So I will post it in the live comment section now, the link. Go and follow my Twitter page. I know not all of you watching me live right now follow me. Breaking news, everything you need from myself is on there. All the different posts that we put out, as you can see, doing the rounds there. Go check out the Twitter page. Go give it a follow if you would be so kind. Let's do some more calls here. Let's get some more calls done. We're going to get the United community on the show now to have his say. Welcome. Good morning. How are you?
Hello, Terry. Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure. Yeah, I'm doing well.
Yeah, good. What are you here to say, my friend?
I would like to touch a bit on the Deadwood and Pogba, because he got a lot of stick yesterday. He got a lot of stick. I don't know why, and people just and people basically think that weight structure is nothing. Now, Paul Pogba yesterday was absolutely amazing, and I was really happy with Paul Pogba's performance. He played with a smile on his face. Really connected well with Bruno. But the thing is Pogba every season consistent? Because the last 5 seasons, he didn't prove he was consistent. He always gets injured about 2 months. Then he takes his time to get back. And then all of a sudden, he's like, we should keep him. Listen, Paul Pogba is one of the best midfielders in the world, without shadow of a doubt. But he's not consistent. I would happily take him. I would happily definitely keep him at Man United. But if he's committed to the club and wants to play week in, week out, then I would happily keep him at Manchester United, and I would definitely pay whatever he wants. Like if he gets 400 grand a week, it won't be a problem, because like you're paying Matic, who's like he's not gonna play now or then. You're paying him 140 grand a week. You're paying Mata 100 grand a week. What does he do? What does Mata do? What does Andreas Pereira do? What does Phil Jones? Phil Jones hasn't worn his Man United kit last season on a pitch. Phil Jones has been out for 15 months. Like, what's his role in this football club? We don't get it. And people saying we're doing good transfer. Listen, we're not. Jadon Sancho was last season signing. I know his impact wasn't gonna be that massive, but like as a football club, you should go get that deal done. And people saying it's a good business. Listen, if you want to get into business and all that, that's fine. But you're talking now to the club. You're looking for the ambitions of this club, and that's why I'm saying Paul Pogba, like giving others who don't do anything this club high wages. Give Paul Pogba what he wants. That's absolutely fine. So yeah, like transfers. Listen, we need a central defensive midfielder, because if we don't get one, and even if we get Camavinga, and it looks likely then that we're gonna get Camavinga, because what's his name, Lille are looking to sell Camavinga, so I feel like he's gonna go out, but like we have to get a holding midfielder. Like we will win the Premier League if we get a holding midfielder. But till now, I'm not that confident we're gonna win the league, because I think Chelsea are too strong, and Man City always start bad and then all of a sudden win all of those games. So gotta be a little bit patient, and yeah, a holding midfielder will make this transfer window very successful.
Listen, mate, great call, great points being raised there. Like, I would say this, I do think it's a very good window. I understand your notion that this window is, we signed a player this year that we tried to sign last year, but if we signed Jadon Sancho last year, it would probably have been a mad that we went after this campaign. So sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. You know, you don't always get the player. You know, it was a great January for Liverpool when they signed Van Dijk. No Liverpool fan said, it's a crap January, really, because that was a summer signing. We should have signed another additional person. It doesn't quite work in that way. The Paul Pogba situation, I would give him what he wants. That's my personal preference and choice. The club just need to weigh it up, though. And I do actually think his slight injury concerns in recent years is a worry for Man United. If you commit him to a new 3 year, say we extend his contract for 3 years, 4 years, and he's on 400 grand a week, and then for the next 4 seasons, he spends like the last 2 years where he spent big chunks of the seasons out injured, suddenly you start to look at that money and it's a waste because it could be used elsewhere. So they've got to weigh that up. But great call, mate. Top man. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Not a problem at all. Thank you. Comment here says, have you seen the overlap fan debate? If you do, what do you think of Ty from AFT? Of course, I've watched it. Our very own Kendall was on that show, did brilliantly. Ty. I've met him. He's a lovely bloke. It's just the way he is. It's just the way he is. It's just the way he is. Next on the show with me today, Tom Little's back to have his say. What's on your mind, mate?
We finally sorted out the Henderson situation. I'm more than happy with that. You know, I can't believe we're actually getting to the stage where our owners were going, do we really need to sort out our captain's future? I don't know. We might be able to just push that on the back burner. It took the manager getting involved. It should never come to that. And I hope it doesn't come to it again. We still need new contracts. Just get them done, get them sorted. I've resigned to no more transfers, but I want the contracts done. That's all I want.
Do you get this feeling? I want to ask you as a Liverpool fan, do you get this sense and do you get this feeling that all these kind of... Because you could have waited until after season's begun to announce these signing new contracts. Do you think that they're doing the announcements of the new contracts now to distract away from the fact that no, outside of Konate, no other signings have come in?
Yes, 100%. 100%. I think we'll have done it anyway, but it's especially because of that. I remember last season, every time we lost a game, poor Virgil van Dijk could be dragged onto the training pitch to run round so we could get a promotional video and get fans excited again. They're very good at spinning PR, our owners, in a sense. Very good at spinning PR. The lack of transfers is alarming. Could it cost us this season? Very, very likely it could. Because you know what? Once you've had a major injury, your resistance becomes less and less. And we've had that now with Henderson. Fabinho suffered quite a bit. Van Dijk, Gomez, all them lot. They need good. The drop-off in quality for backups now needs to be lessened. And I just think we're resting on our laurels and waiting for Jurgen Klopp to unearth another gem. We've only got 3 years of him left. Let's make the most of it. And let's make sure we don't spend his last couple of years at Liverpool wondering what if we just got this player. Could he have helped us? I don't want any more what ifs. I want certainties. If we're not good enough, we're not good enough, but at least we gave it a good enough go. At least we tried everything.
Yeah, listen, I absolutely. And do you know what I find interesting has been the response. So Jessie's video of her saying that she thinks Liverpool will miss out on the top 4. Everyone's giving it the same response. And Henry Jackson here, really great guy from This Is Anfield, does work for Snack Media as well, top guy. But he said this, and a lot of other people have, to her point. Leicester are a good side. Rodgers is a good manager, but Liverpool still finished third last season with Nat Phillips and Reece Williams at centre-back. Nonsensical shout. Well, I don't think that it is. I think that Leicester fell away, but they've improved their squad, as an example. Chelsea, if they'd have had Tuchel the whole season, would have at least finished third or second, or maybe even challenged to the league title. Man United have improved, as an example. You have returning players, but you're still likely to get injuries, as you did last year, and you haven't improved the strength in your squad, and Genie's missing. And no one's challenging the Stowness element. Someone said earlier on to Jesse's point that it's basically said it's stupid to suggest that Stowness is going to creep in. Since when has not refreshing your squad not created Stowness at times? I find that it's almost that there is this universal approach from Liverpool fans to say, we don't need to sign anybody. and top four is a guarantee because we did it last year with Reece Williams and Nate Phillips. I think that is the more, I wouldn't say deluded shout. Deluded would be a very disrespectful way. I think that is just as I think that's just as much as a guess as someone saying I don't think they're going to make it. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Because the Liverpool supporters, maybe quietly, why are they flapping at no signings if what Jess is saying is so wrong? Why there wouldn't be a single Tottenham Liverpool fan on the planet worried about no signings if they truly believed that top four and title challenges without new signings was a guarantee. So I don't understand why everyone's defending Liverpool, then moaning about not signing players at the same time.
I mean, I think top four's a guarantee. I think Van Dijk came back in against Norwich and looked so seamless. And I think Koundé as well, he's looked very good in pre-season. I think the defence should be sorted. Midfield is a bit iffy, but that's always been iffy with us. I think top four should be a guarantee. We're that good. We have a system that just works for us. We have players that have bought into it, play for the manager. That is brilliant. But my issue is challenging for titles. I don't want the rest of Klopp's here. I don't want the rest of this squad's here to be, we got top four, we did our job. Because this squad is good enough to challenge for these titles. And the players are good enough. That's the level the players deserve to be at. They should never. Mo Salah should never have to go through Nat Phillips and Reece Williams as his centre backs ever again. We should never have another situation like that ever again. You know, signings are important. I get that Jurgen Klopp likes to have a small squad with good harmony and players that he trusts. Perfectly fine with that, but you've got to understand that you can bring in players like that. I don't see the point in keeping around players like Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain who can have a good game every couple of months. We need players who can have a good game every week, every 2 weeks, because that's what you need now to challenge for titles. Look at the levels that teams been putting up these past couple of years. 100 points, 98 points, 97 points. Last year was a down year at near 90. That's levels unheard of. So you have to be at the top of your game every year. And the fact that there's 4 teams that could reasonably get that means you just cannot afford slip-ups. And our lack of depth, especially during AFCON, probably could unearth that. The fan in me says, no, we'll get through it. We'll grind out the results like we have done. Because I can see us winning this title. I see the quality this squad has in winning it. But there's just that nagging doubt that there'll be a what if.
I agree. And this is it. Like, there's a comment that it's gone past me now. It said Liverpool are a couple of injuries away from being in major trouble. And that's the point that people are pulling on here. People are not, I suppose it depends how you view things. If Liverpool's players all stay fit and play all 38 games each, can they win the league and make the top 4? Of course. But most people believe you're going to get injuries again. And the irony in this is at the beginning of last season on the terrace, a lot of rivals said, look, you've had a kind of lucky couple of years where you've barely picked up an injury. At some point, that for all clubs, that luck just runs out. And last year, it was no, it won't happen. And we're good in the rotation anyway. Now, more injuries happen than you expected to. But I just can't understand why suddenly it's so nonsensical, so deluded of rivals to think the squad's too thin when everybody else has improved. Time's going to tell. But that's all I would say is this. Keep the challenge respectful, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it respectful. Everyone's entitled to their opinions on this. Tom, great call, mate. Thanks for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate it, bro. Top man. Thank you. Big up, Tom. Comment here says, listen, whoever doubts Liverpool will be disappointed because the core of the team knows what it takes to win the title. So they'll be okay. We need Sal Niguez 100%. I love the show, Terry. Come on, Big Rom. Come on, you Blues. Thank you very much for that donation, my friend. It means a great deal to the Football Terrace that you have done that this morning. Next on the show, going to Sunshine, Man United fan. Welcome back, bro. What do you want to say?
How you getting on, bro? You good?
I'm very good, my friend. What's on your mind, my friend?
It's most of the Liverpool stuff, man. I mean, the previous caller, he spoke quite highly of his team, and I respect that. And I think, remember when United had, I think it was about 2 seasons ago, we had quite a few injuries and we still managed to make third. And I do think Liverpool do still have a chance, even if they make injuries. The only worry I would have if I was a Liverpool fan is the fact that Jurgen Klopp plays a very specific style of football. So in order to replace those kind of injuries, if they do get injuries, it's going to be difficult. And then to replace it with the quality that is needed, I think that's where the worry would be for Liverpool fans if I was a Liverpool fan. Because for me, I rate Klopp as a manager. Speaking pure football, forget the bias for a second. Speaking pure football, I rate Klopp as a manager in terms of how he plays football. I really think it's great football, but I don't think he's got the depth of quality in the right areas to maintain that that style of play without injuries. And I think we saw that last season. Whereas Ollie, last season as well, especially in the season before, he was able to adapt his team because his tactics weren't as, let's say, glorified or as specific. But he had enough players to be able to play a system which kind of adapted well. I just don't think Liverpool have the players to adapt. So I'm with you if that's the case. I don't think and having no signings will help Liverpool this season. 100%. They're gonna have to do something. I'd say ASAP. At least 2 set signings minimum.
No, I agree, especially from a challenging for the title kind of point of view. This especially from challenging for the title, top 4. Let's see how others go, but they are a year older. They've got all these players returning from these major injuries, no reoccurrence. Maybe not something taken away from them. There is going to be more injuries this season. You've got AFCON to contend with. You know, you're fighting on all fronts again. Yes. Are they going to lose 6 games or 5, 6 games on the bounce at Anfield at home? No, they're not. I don't see that happening again. But what I do find strange is almost this level of offense having their credentials challenged, where people are challenging City and saying they may not win the league this year if they don't buy a recognised striker. And that's seen as fair challenge, but saying Liverpool might not win the title or may fall out the top 4 if they don't make any signings, that's looked at as being like sacrilegious. I don't like. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, 100%. I know it is though. Like, and this is every Liverpool fan, but ones that I genuinely speak to, and I have running banter, of course, United, Liverpool rivalry, all that old nostalgia stuff. But I speak to these guys and. They just seem to, they do genuinely take offence to them not being title challengers. And I think this is why, Liverpool fans, this doesn't speak for every Liverpool fan, some great ones out there, unfortunately. But Liverpool fans get called deluded because they just don't like reality. Whereas I've had to sit there and suck up the reality of we're not going to be able to play very good football that I would prefer. And I don't think Ollie's going to pick the right teams. And that's a reality. So I have to hold that to the chest. Whereas Liverpool fans, the moment you criticise or whatever, majority or most seem to just, they go AWOL, bro. Like, you can't say anything to them about them not being challenging, or they'll have an excuse, or they'll have a random reason that will make them title challengers. And, you know, it's I don't know, man. I can't speak for them all, but yeah, man, all I'm saying is they need some signings ASAP, because I can see injuries happening, COVID as well. It's not going to be great for Liverpool if they don't make signings. Fact.
I hear you on that. Listen, Sunshine, top call, mate. Thanks for coming on and having your say today. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, love, brother.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much indeed. We have super chat here that says this is towards the new phone screen. Yeah, it fixed itself this morning and it's gone again. Like, you see, I don't know if you can see it on the screen, right? It just flashes like yellow. It's very weird. Oh, that was a bright flash. Busted, you know. Next on the show, we're going to go to... Ooh, we're getting on here. We're going to get... Romel's coming on now. What are you saying, Romel?
You saying, Terry, you good?
Yeah, I'm very well. What's on your mind, bro?
Just one, like, I've heard a lot of people say about when we was winning stuff, we didn't really have injuries. But that's kind of bullshit, to be fair. Sorry for my language, but I can give you examples. When we won the title, Mane got injured. I think he missed the majority of February. That was a hamstring injury he picked up against Wolves, and he played against Norwich and then Atletico when we went out. When we won the Champions League, we had situations where Fabinho and Henderson had gone out. Yes, they weren't long injuries, but like, to say we had no injuries when we were winning stuff, that's false. The difference is last season, we had big injuries to real key players, like even more important, like Van Dijk, if you get what I mean. Alisson had a bad season. But in terms of other fans of opposition clubs saying we're not going to be competitive this season, or say if we don't have certain signings, we might miss out on top four. I agree with that. I don't really take offense to that. Do you know what I mean? Because you always have to try and improve. What a lot of Liverpool fans have at the moment, though, is like, we hope that our team will get back to what it is. I'm not sure. I spoke to a lot of my colleagues at work who are Liverpool fans as well, and they said my name Firmino will be back, and I don't really think that. You know what I mean? I believe we kind of should have sold one of them. You know what I mean? But it's how it go.
No, I didn't say anything. I listened to you, bro.
No, I said that's how it, like that. Like I finished the sentence and said that's
sorry.
yeah.
I thought you were, listen, I look at it this way. You definitely have had injuries before in the past and have won things. I think one of the interesting things that I'm going by what Jess said here. In fact, you know what we'll do? We'll take a listen to what it is that Jess had to say.
I think Liverpool misses out. I have huge questions about. Well, they haven't really done anything in the transfer window. I know Koundé is a good player, but y'all got injury issues. Like, I still think that even though the players are coming back, recovering from injuries is not linear. All you need is a couple of those players, a Van Dijk to get re-injured, a Jordan Henderson, or whatever, because you're still dealing with the exact same group of players in a very skeleton-like squad. So for me, I don't think Liverpool is freshened up enough. I think they're quite stale. And then with the reoccurring injuries that I foresee happening anyway, I think they just miss out on it.
Cal, I need to get your take on that. So when you listen to what Jess said there, that is what's not being addressed by people are saying it's nonsensical. She's talking about, she thinks some of these players are going to have recurrences of injuries. You're all claiming that you need better backup, and she thinks if you don't bring that better backup in, and she believes these reoccurring injuries will happen, that's where you'll struggle. I don't understand what it is she said there that's so offensive and wrong. Like, if Van Dijk in the opening,
I'm not offended by what she said, by the way.
No, I know you're not. I'm just talking in general. Like, people seem to act like what she said is nonsensical. I think everything she said there, it may not happen, but there's nothing illogical about that train of thought.
Do you know what it is? Oh,
What's that?
Broke it up. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? Sorry. I think what it is with Liverpool, because of our financial situation, it's sort of spun the narrative. I'm not sure if it's actually been said, but in my belief, that, you know, Keita and Chamberlain, because they've been so injured, if they can have a fully fit season and play well, they're almost like new signings. I watched the game against Norwich, and maybe they're not fully fit. But Keita looked okay. He looked durable, which was shocking to me. But Chamberlain looked very off the pace. That's why I'm like, if we get Sounders, yes, he might take a bit of time because of not having preseason with us, etc. Right? But we need a player of his quality, because if you think about it, he is at least better than Chamberlain. I can't speak for Keita because I believe Keita is a really good player, but can't be fit. You know what I mean? So Jess isn't wrong, but I also think that mentality that the board have set and how Klopp will sort of mask it, and it's not wrong with doing that, by the way. I think it's sort of what us as fans have taken on as well, in terms of, you know, those injured players can be like new signings. Yeah. And it can be, but it's if buts and maybes. You know what I mean?
It's if buts and maybes. And like, hand on heart, do you see all those players that have been injured what feels like for large parts of every season since they've joined? Why this season are they suddenly not going to get injured? And this is what Jess is saying.
But this is the thing. I only see Chamberlain being the one.
But why now? But why now is he suddenly not going to start getting injuries? What's changed? What's he doing different to not get injuries now?
The majority of injuries before were to do with his knee, whereas Keita, Matip, all those type of players, those are all muscle injuries. That means they can't take the intensity of the league and our club and our football team. Do you get my gist?
I do, but I'm not. This isn't factually right, but it's how it feels. I feel like the Ox gets injured every single season for every.
Yeah.
And you, so I don't. And it's all that Jess has said is, I see the injury-prone players getting injured again, and I see some of the guys that had big injuries maybe having reoccurrences, And unless you build a stronger squad behind them to cope with that, then you may fall out of the top 4. I don't see that as a bad literally, if tomorrow, touching wood doesn't happen, if VVD does his cruciate and Mo Salah picks up a season-long injury,
yeah, we're done.
You're all going to say you're done. So what's Jess saying that's wrong? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Brother, listen, great call, Romel. Top man. Well done for backing your club, though. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you very much indeed. Artem here says, Terry, what's your opinion on Pep versus Klopp? I think both are amazing managers, but Pep always inherits amazing teams. Jurgen Klopp is a better builder on a smaller budget, but could he cope with the pressure that comes with spending the most and having to win? Like this season, I haven't heard a single pundit say Liverpool have to win the league or otherwise it's a failure. Like Pep gets called a failure because he hasn't won a Champions League yet, and he's won 3 Premier League titles in 5 years. He's done a domestic treble. He's won the League Cup, every season he's been here, barring the first, and he's still called a failure by some because he hasn't won the Champions League. So you have to factor in both of those things, my friend, I think there. Comment here. Where's this super chat gone? Oh, there it just got it. It says, honest to God, I hear United, not Chelsea, but City is City. I hear you on that one. Comment here says, our current first 11 is good enough to always challenge. Our squad makes it more of a challenge, but in Jurgen, we trust. And I totally understand that train of thought. Listen, everyone that has tuned in today, a massive thank you to each. I know so many of you waiting backstage to come on. I'm really, really sorry, but I've overrun by 25 minutes already. Great conversations, great debates, and that's what the Terrace is all about. No echo chambers over here. Thank you to everyone that's interacted. Thank you to everybody that's got involved. Take care. Someone here says Kane to City is off. According to who? That's no good for me, Brandon. I need to know who has said this. Where's this come from? I need to know. That doesn't help me because that means I have to go and do all the research. I don't know if that's true, but there we go. Everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very,